Hi, my name's Cameron Carlson with AnimeLocation.tv. I'm here with the talented and successful Mr. Fred Gallagher of Mega Tokyo. How's it been for you?
Not too bad, other than the fact that I kind of sound like a recovering drug addict in my 60s because my voice is completely gone. I've had a cold, and you come to a convention with a cold, and you have to talk a lot. It's not a good combination. So I sound like a character, not like a human being right now. So you have to pardon me. So my answers are going to sound kind of strange.
Okay, so how did you get started with Mega Tokyo and putting it out there to the world?
Okay, well, essentially, the main thing that sort of brought it about was a friend in an IRC channel. He wanted to do a webcomic, and he kept bugging me about it until finally I sort of started doing it to shut him up. And we'd talked about working together, and I decided maybe to do a webcomic. He was a big fan of him, but I decided, hey, why not? I'll try working on a webcomic. It's good practice. And there weren't a lot of manga-related webcomics at the time, but, it was something I thought maybe I could do a little bit of. So that's sort of how it got started. And after a little bit, we had like 2 or 3 comics, and then Rodney had talked with, one of the guys at Penny Arcade, and next thing you know, the comic was linked at Penny Arcade for a joke he'd done, and next thing I know, it's like, oh, wow, we got like lots of visitors. I guess we better keep doing this. And I've sort of been trying to keep up ever since.
Okay, so the site's gone through a lot of major changes. What has been one of the biggest ones for you guys?
Oh, well, the site, the biggest change was when I took over doing the comic myself, when Rodney and I split, mostly because over time, as I did more and more story-related stuff, it was a lot harder for him to do the kind of gag-oriented, the types of comics or the types of jokes that he liked to do. So eventually we stopped collaborating, and I sort of took over. That was a difficult split. But other than that, just over the years, as things grow and things change, it's always a challenge to try to keep going and doing it in ways that are interesting. Because you want to keep people interested. Of course, my art keeps getting more and more complicated, and the story keeps getting more and more complicated. So, as a consequence, the comics take longer to do, and it takes, so in other words, it's like this atrophying type thing that keeps happening to it. But in the past couple of years have been a little difficult with some things, but hopefully most of that passed, and I can start sort of getting back more into a better schedule. So, we'll hope.
Okay. And it says you never went to art school, but you are an architect. Do you feel that helps you with how to be a webcomic?
Well, architecture is a good study because they say architects are people who know almost nothing about almost everything. So, because you're coordinating things, it's like sort of how things work, but detailing it, you hire somebody to finish detailing it. So, and also when you're building buildings, you're doing construction documents and things. And those are things that use both graphics and words to kind of tell a story of how to put something together. So actually, it's a fitting background. Of course, now doing it full time, not having an art education, I struggle a lot with things that maybe if I'd had more training, I might have better skills with. I rely a lot on sort of a brute force method of art, where I just keep pushing it until it looks like it might be right. Whereas if I knew more about what I was doing, maybe it would when inspiration was not, I didn't have inspiration, maybe I could rely on my skills to make it happen. But I don't have any skills, so I just sort of have to force it, so it's all inspiration.
Okay. It says you've changed your methods of drawing on the show, on the webcomic a lot. What was one of your biggest ones, like going from like a 3-panel to a 4-panel to maybe an even bigger one, so on and so forth?
Well, early on, actually before the finish of book 1, we were originally a 4-panel comic, and I took it to a full-page comic. And it's a bit challenging doing a comic that when you put it together, you read it like page to page to page, but something that you can release one comic at a time. So every page has to end somehow, and that's a bit of a challenge. But in the end, oddly enough, it seems to work. I don't know why. But another big change in art was that I used to do all my drawings by hand, pencil. That's sort of my style. And finally, after I had a Cintiq for a while, which is a drawing tablet you can draw on the screen, I finally started doing things digitally. And the idea is that it's very interchangeable because I was able to set things up so that when I draw on the computer, it's very much the same as drawing by pencil. So I can actually go back and forth, and you can't tell the difference between the two unless you really look closely. So those are two big changes.
Okay. So you actually also have a wide range of products to offer to fans, like shirts, bags, plushies, so on and so forth. How do you market it that way? So fans have the opportunity to get all those.
Well, the basic idea behind anything you offer, I mean, it comes down to, this is stuff I want. I wanted a Baka 2 shirt, so I made one. Or people's like a ninja hoodie. Oh, that sounds like cool. You should put that in the store. Actually, that'd be kind of cool to make one. So a lot of times stuff will show up in the comic or something related to it. It just seems like a really good product idea. And not all of them are. Some people don't think some things are worth much, but that's the nature of it. And because you offer the comic for free, you got to have stuff to support what you do. And oddly enough, the idea is that I'm not trying to make people buy my stuff before they know whether they like it. They can read it, get into it. If they like it, they have opportunities to support it by buying stuff related to it. So it's something that's worked pretty well for ever since we started doing this. So and these days, we went from having the shirt screen printed to we have a shirt printer where it's like a direct-to-jet garment printer where we actually make our shirts for everyone. So I'm actually making the garments that I sell. So, I mean, it's not like there's some company somewhere that's just selling stuff. I mean, we do all this stuff. And, of course, there are problems related with that because, when I'm delayed and having trouble, all of a sudden the store's behind. So, we have trouble with that sometimes. But at the same time, I kind of like being able to deal directly with fans. And if somebody's going to disappoint fans through the store, I want to do it myself, not some company I don't even know who they are, might not get the orders out. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's been fun.
Okay. And it says that your wife has also joined the team. What's it like having her on there?
Well, joined the team. She's sort of ever since she's always been sort of a part of it in a lot of ways. And when she became sort of she's a conscience character in the story itself. So that's the character she plays, which is fitting. It was her idea. When we opened the Mega Gear store, because we were with Think Geek for a while, that's when Sarah sort of like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help out. I'll help run the store and do all this other stuff. So that's she would run the store and I try to run the comic side of things, and we sort of help each other out. And it's we've been doing it for 6-7 years now with the store, and it's worked out pretty well. I mean, we're pretty happy with it. So it's nice being able to kind of spend the entire day with your partner, and now we have a 4-year-old, with us, and it's great. We don't have to, he's with us all the time, whatever we do, and sometimes it's crazy trying to do anything, but the thing is that we don't leave him at home, leave him with somebody all day, and don't see him most of the time. So we're kind of spoiled in that respect.
Okay, and is there any other websites that fans can check out on the internet other than megatokyo.com?
Or related to Megatokyo, or oddly enough, I have my problems with Facebook, and I resisted strongly. But we have a Megatokyo Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/Megatokyo, and there are a lot of people who sort of just keep touch with things that are going on with MT there, and I'll post updates there very regularly. My Twitter account, either Fredrin or Megatokyo itself, a good place for updates. I mean, those are kind of the main sites, megatokyo.com itself. There are a lot of fan sites and things of that nature that you can get information on. I think I have some links somewhere. But in general, those are kind of the main places to go for information. I do have a Tumblr site that I've sort of been using a little more recently. And I do have a DeviantArt page where I put a lot of artwork, and that's fredrin.deviantart.com. So, and there's stuff you might not find otherwise. And then, of course, there's my Pixiv page. If they go to the DeviantArt page, they'll find out about that.
Okay. And is there any upcoming projects you want to talk about this time that you can? And a final message for fans.
Okay. Well, I am and have been working very seriously on something that I think could be the next thing kind of I do after Megatokyo. But by that, I mean I'll be working on it before Megatokyo ends, because Megatokyo is going to do its role. But it's something that has a wide-ranging type of appeal that I think I don't know. It's just an interesting idea that I've sort of been playing with for the past 4 or 5 months, and the more I play with it, the more I like the idea. So, and that's important. Sometimes you can work on a story idea, and Does it seem like it's going to be something that turns into something? And I've had a couple of them that I haven't been quite so sure about. This one feels pretty good. So I mean, there's always that sort of stuff going on in the background. You know it's something that's going to actually happen when you start working on it. You know, and what that's going to be, whether it's a webcomic or whether it's something I do for print or release initially, I don't know yet. But that's something that I'll see as I move along here. So, as far as any messages for Mega Tokyo fans, they are the most patient people in the world. The past couple of years have been a little rough, but I've tried to produce comics that, you know, when you put them all together, they all read well and they all work well. I figure you would much rather just get good material from me when I can do it, rather than a lot of sort of less quality filler. So I really resist. I didn't want to put out a lot of filler or even make a lot of noise about, I'm having this problem or that problem. I figure that when the material's coming, people will see it and they'll read it. So that's, I appreciate the patience with that, and no one's more frustrated by the release schedule than I am, and hopefully I can do something about it this year. Maybe if my voice repairs itself by any chance. I am not turning into an ogre, really. And it may seem like it. But.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming out to Ohayocon 2012 and talking to us on AnimeLocation.tv.
Thank you. And I hope some of that was understandable, because I don't know. I can barely understand myself today.